A bunch of items just got buy limit increases, which makes them much more worth your time to flip. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is SarahTube, and today we're going to be talking about all of the items that got a recent buff on the Grand Exchange. Jagex just jumped in and increased the buy limits on a bunch of common items, some members and some free-to-play. So in this video, we're just going to be testing out the new items, testing out the new buy limits, seeing if we find them to be a lot better or not, and just going from there. So if you guys do enjoy this one, be sure to drop a like, and let's get into it. So the first two items that got a buff to their buy limits, which I think are super interesting, is the blood runes and the death runes. Now, we're not going to flip the death runes, but they are a free-to-play item, and they did get buffed to a 25,000 buy limit. The same thing as the blood runes, they also got an increase to a 25,000 buy limit every 4 hours. And for me, I think that's going to make the blood runes a lot better to flip. You're going to be able to walk away with much more profit on these. So I'm excited to try them out here today and see how much we make. Look at that. Before I could even do the next item, we already finished the blood runes, which was a 75k profit, sold them for 408 and bought them for 405. But besides that, another interesting item that got a buy limit buff was the adamant dart tips. This is typically an item that bulk flippers bought beforehand, but now I think they're kind of out of luck since the buy limits were increased. You don't really need to bulk flip these anymore. You don't need to buy them in bulk quantities. So the adamant dart tips, we're going to try them out, see how they go. The mithril dart tips also got a buff to a 20,000 per hour, or per 4 hours, buy limit as well, the same as the adamant darts. But I'm not going to flip them because the margin was 1 GP. Another item that got a buff to its buying limits were the fire orbs, water orbs, earth orbs, and air orbs. So basically all the elemental orbs. They got their limits buffed up 1,000 on each of them. So now the buying limit is 11,000 every 4 hours from the previous limit of 10,000 every 4 hours. One item that actually got a nerf to its buy limit was the Necklace of Anguish, so you can no longer buy 70 within a 4 hour period. Now the limit is 8, which is the same as the Amulet of Torture. I kinda am gonna miss flipping all of those Necklaces of Anguish, so that kinda sucks. The Tormented bracelet also got a nerf as well. Now it is the same as the Anguish. I'm going to try them out just because I think the margins might be good on them, considering that the nerf would affect how many would be traded, so the margins might have stretched. We'll see if we can make some profit. The composts also got a buff to their limits. Previously, the super compost, compost, and ultra compost all had a, I believe, 600 every 4 hours buying limit. Now they have all been increased to 2,000, so we're going to try flipping the super compost here today. By the way, there's no way we're going to get to every single item in this video, so be sure to check the description below to see all of the items that got buffed or nerfed and their current new buying limits. I've also been getting asked how I think that these new limits will affect these items. In my opinion, for the blood runes, it's going to make the margins a little bit bigger because you'll have people buying a ton on the low end and then looking to sell it on the higher end. So the margin, while it will be more frequently traded, will be stretched a bit further since the buy limit has been increased. For items like the Necklace of Anguish and Tormented bracelet, yes, the margins on these items will get bigger, but I do expect that the total profit you will be able to get from them during a 4 hour period will actually be lower. We decided to shift off of the super compost because it's just too slow, but what we're actually going to flip is the Cannonballs, which did get a well-deserved buff. Currently, beforehand, they were, I think the buy limit was 7,000 every 4 hours, and now it is 11,000 every 4 hours, which makes way more sense in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and try and flip those today. Wow, so one thing I just actually realized is that when you nerf the buy limits, the competition is actually less severe. We just flipped those Necklaces of Anguish for a total of 396k, which is absolutely outstanding. Very happy with that, and that includes the margin check cost as well. So we did really good there. So a lot less competition on the Tormented bracelets and the Necklaces of Anguish now. Now the Elder Chaos armor as well. Those robes also got a buy limit nerf. Now you can only buy 8 of each piece every 4 hours. So I guess that's going to hurt in the long run just because it's not a more expensive item per se. It's really not that much to buy the Elder Chaos set. And I do think it's going to be a nerf because previously you could pick up a ton of these items and you can kind of influence the market in that way. So I do think this was actually a nerf, but we're going to try it out anyway and see how much profit we can make. We did finish up the Tormented Bracelets and the Cannonballs. I made about as much as I normally would on both of those items. A little bit less on the Tormented Bracelets though. Probably before the buff slash nerf, whatever you want to call it, I was able to make 300k, and normally when flipping the Tormented Bracelets, before having to do another margin check and readjusting my listings, didn't have to do any adjustments today, but we did make 121k on those and about 22k on the Cannonballs, which for the Cannonballs, that's pretty similar to what we were making before. I do expect there to be a lot of trading volume today just because the changes are new, but as time goes on, these items should stable out a bit. I would expect smaller margins on the Tormented Bracelets and bigger margins on the Cannonballs. We've been waiting about 15 minutes now, so I just cut back on all of the buy offers. We're going to turn around and sell everything, see how much we made on that alone. I'm loving these new limits on these items. I think all the limit increases and decreases are perfectly in line with the game and the current meta at the time. Like, I don't think you should be able to buy 15,000 Tormented Bracelets in a 4-hour period. But that's just me. I'm glad they made those changes. Let's see if it's also good on the cash stack. I did end up going ahead and dumping the water orbs because they were taking way too long, so we only made a small profit on those. But besides that, profit on everything else, guys. We're going to go ahead and collect that and talk about what we learned from all of the buy limit changes that have been made to the Grand Exchange. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the flipping for this video. We made 841k during it, which, again, this video was not about the profit at all. I just wanted to try out some of the new buy limits, see if the margins were good right now, and talk about what my thoughts were about these buy limit changes. In my opinion, I think all of the changes that were made are really healthy and they're good. One, they kind of counter bulk flippers, which is a style of flipping. I guess it's more of a merch, and it is recognized as a flipping activity, but at the same time, I think Jagex is trying to counteract that market control, and I think that's a fine and healthy move for the game. On top of that, a lot of items with weird buying limits like the Necklace of Anguish and Tormented Bracelet got proper adjustments, so I can't really complain. That seemed like a quality of life adjustment to me. Anyway, really like the changes, and it has made the margins on some of these high volume items a lot better, and you're able to make more profit per hour or every 4 hours on these items. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.